Good morning, Armor Down. Hope you had a nice weekend. We had a pretty good weekend. A lot going on, but all's well, all's well. You might hear I'm a little bit under the weather, not COVID, thankfully, but still, it's a cold nonetheless. And as my wife will tell you, it's a man's cold, right? So it's way worse than any other cold anyone has ever had. So I've been hamming it up a little bit, and you know, oh, I'm so sick. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. My wife is like, ugh. All good though. All good though. This week we're going to talk a little bit about the kind of difference between agency, which is kind of where we left off in the context of what the whole program of Armor Down is. What does it do? It facilitates agency. The practice facilitates agency, and mostly it's agency to get towards a place of open-heartedness. That's the kind of where we're headed, right? So you go from being armored up, whatever causes that armored up feeling, whatever is impacting you to cause the armored up response, to a place where you armor down and get to a place of open-heartedness, true connection to others. And so there's a difference between having the agency to do that, understanding that you even can do that, and then your ego, which is kind of the internal construct of individual separate self, and then what the ego kind of latches onto in the context of something like an ideology or a meme or a zeitgeist, and how that ego can be absorbed or consumed by something, and how the practice itself can facilitate a sense of agency around that, so that you're not just being blown one way or the other based on whatever's going on, or kind of whatever threshold you're at. So we'll talk about agency and ego this week. And I just was thinking that we should probably start with the practice, and then we'll go into it. So go ahead and turn this heater down a little bit. Go ahead and give yourself a minute to get 1% to 2% more comfortable. Now just kind of abstract the present moment. Break it up. Break it into kind of opposites. Experience the ability to abstract the mind into kind of parts. And by virtue of abstracting the mind into parts, practice the fact that you're the awareness of the mind as opposed to the mind itself. So the opposite of seated, the opposite of still, the opposite of quiet. And just kind of giving the mind something to do. It's the coaxing of the elephant, right? You see an elephant, you want to tame that elephant. It's, come on, come here, look at this, come here. You're doing that with your mind. It's like, all right, come on, mind. Hey, mind, what's the opposite of sitting down? The mind's like, I know. So you just give the mind, coax the mind in, and let's start with first bell. Curiosity. Be curious about your senses. I got birds to my left. Sound. Smell. Taste. Touch. Temperature. Bringing the attention to the senses. Noticing the world as it is in the current moment. Not what it could be, but what you're aware of right now. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Train the mind through the body. Let's go opposites again. Notice the ground. Press down into the ground. So engage muscles down, whether you're sitting crisscross applesauce or feet on the ground. Engage down. Turn muscles on. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then turn muscles off. Settle into your pelvis. Notice the pelvis. Tuck the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone. Send the tailbone underneath your butt. Feel what happens. Now do the opposite. Reach backwards with your butt. Lift your tailbone. Opposites, find the middle. Core. Push belly button out. Push belly button out. Opposite, pull belly button in. Find the middle. Heart space. Pull shoulder blades back and together. Send shoulder blades around and forward. Find the middle. Throat. Jut chin forward. Feel back of throat. Pull chin back. Feel the throat. If you pull your chin back, feel how your throat kind of flattens out. Feel how it kind of tightens. Find the middle. See, a lot of times the middle is where there's no pull either way. You know, what's the opposite of zero? All right, let's go to the top of the head. If you tilt your head back, you feel what happens on your face. If you tilt your head forward, feel what happens. And then find the middle. Often the middle is the empty spot, the spot where there's not a lot of kind of stuff going on. It's a stiller spot. Let's work on the face for a second. Just move your face all around. Squint your face up, eyebrows, nose, chin, face, mouth, lips. Activate face and then deactivate face. Let the face be still. Soften eyebrows. Soften eyeballs. Soften cheeks. Soften mouth. Throw a little smile on there. Now you don't have to, start with your eyes closed. It didn't feel comfortable to close my eyes just till now. So now third bell is when I started to close my eyes, and now it feels really good to have my eyes closed. It's like my eyes just kind of like, oh, okay, let's just rest. Let's go third bell. Notice breath. Location of breath. Intensity of breath. Direction of breath. Depth of breath. Size of breath. Let's go opposites. The size is small. Breathe the opposite. If the direction is forward and back, try up and down. If the direction is side to side, try forward and back. Participate. This is the agency. So first is awareness. You got to be aware. The next is you get to participate. So go into the breath experience, its location, its intensity, its direction, depth, and size, and play around with your ability to change the patterns. It's a real slow breath. Try the opposite. The location is up high in the body, make it low in the body. And see if you can be aware of the power of your agency to influence how you feel by coming back to a kind of a stable breath, still breath, regular breath. Noticing how the work that you put in may have influenced how you feel now. In the interoceptive space inside, you might feel a difference in how it feels inside your breath space. Spaciousness, or maybe it's even bigger. Maybe there's an energetic change. But that's the agency. That's the choice that comes from awareness. Let's go to fourth bell. Practice the heart. In your mind, repeat these phrases in your inner voice. May I be at ease with my mind. May I be at ease with my body. May I be at ease with my heart. So let's shift the focus from I to the other. Just remember, whatever other shows up, try not to think about the other as opposed to giving your heart to the other. May you be at peace in your mind. May you be at peace in your body. May you be at peace in your heart. Repeat those 3 phrases in your mind, in your inner voice. Now let's shift to we. Let's shift to us. Let's shift to no other. Let's shift to we are one. Repeat these phrases using your inner voice. May we be at peace in our minds. May we be at peace in our bodies. May we be at peace in our hearts. To finish your practice, be intentional. Go through 2 rounds of full inhale and exhale. Second exhale finishes up. Come back to the Zoom. All right. So, ego and agency. I found a quote that I think is really useful in thinking about, and it also connects to this idea that we've been playing around with about what the brain does. So, the brain isn't this passive thing that sits in your skull and responds to stimulus. Your brain is actively participating in the world you see. And so there's a great quote by this woman who I'm just becoming aware of, and I can't wait to learn more about her. But her name is Anais Nin. And she might be one of the more powerful people I've ever come across. But anyway, she says, We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Think about that. Our identities, our understanding of the world around us is not this thing of here and then out there. It's not separate. It is commingled. And the commingling in the scientific realm is called predictive processing. In the kind of the psychological realm, it's called the ego. In the cultural realm, it's called ideology. These are the things kind of where we fit in, right? We fit into this stuff. And what we're learning how to do is break from the fitting in, break from the kind of just kind of like inside this thing that is our brain kind of predicting the world around us, and then our senses giving it input, and then coming back through it, just this cycle of integration. And we collapse that when we come into the present moment and spend time there. So we all know that the kind of the world around us, we see it how we are, right? So you go onto Twitter, you go into social media, you see the world how you are on social media. This woman was in the 60s and 70s. So in social media, when they talk about being in a bubble, right? You don't see the world as it is. You see the world how you are. You see the world how you are. It's your construction of it in social media. It's a really great analogy to understand this in social media, but your brain is doing the same thing that your social media does, which is establishing this kind of identity based on what you are. And so what the practice is, the difference between that and agency is the realm of choice. You have a choice to see the world from the place of agency, as opposed to seeing the world from this kind of construction of you. It's the difference between like a Twitter feed, which is fed by the algorithms, that's organized by your likes or whatever, and a Twitter feed that's populated by people you have chosen yourself. So it's the algorithm is driving the experience of the moment inside this social media, as opposed to your agency driving the experience of the moment. So let's leave it there. We'll come back and practice again on Thursday. Wanted to kind of plant that seed for you. But I mean, I'm going to be looking, I am starting to read about Anais Nin. I dare you to look her up. I dare you. Look her up. Anais Nin. And the best part about it, and the irony of this is just too much. This book, okay, I was given this book by my mother in, 2000. I think it was 2002. 2003. And so I was given this book right after I joined the Army in 2003. I gave it to a friend of mine. She just sent it back to me 20 years later. But anyway, this book is called A Purpose-Driven Life, and it's all about a relationship to God. And it's a very spiritual book. It has a huge amount of biblical scripture and all that kind of stuff. So when you look up Anais Nin, just know that I found her in a book about God, right? And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about: agency versus ego and ideology. So look her up, Anais Nin, and you won't be disappointed. Anyway, I'm going to go to the library and get her book today and talk a little bit more about her on Thursday. But she's pretty perfect. Anyway, thank you, Armor Down. See you Thursday.